So I think we're back. We're working on angling the cameras just right in this women's triples match between Ontario B and BCB for the women's triples. It's currently 12-4 Ontario over BC. They're playing the 13th end, I believe. Unfortunately, our scaffolding is still too far away. We can't really move it during the game as it'll disrupt the players. So we don't quite have as good of the camera angles as we did for the first game, but yeah, Sharon, we were offline for a few seconds while we had to reposition the cameras and move a few things around just so that way we could get this next match rolling. The women are on a whole different deck. They're not just on the rink next door, so apologies for the slight cutoff there. So, in the BCA women's triples team is, sorry, BCB women's triples team is Jenny Sue, Rainbow Lung, and Lisa Chung. And for Ontario, it is Lila Hassan, Crystal Shepard, and Helena Ho. And I'll have Daryl as my co-host here, just hopping back on again. Welcome back.
Welcome, everybody online. Hopefully you didn't miss us too much.
So I just updated everyone on the score. Ontario B is up 12-4 over BCB at the moment, and there are so many spectators between us and the scoreboard that we're going to be guessing throughout this game as well, I believe. But
It's a struggle, but hopefully you can see on your screen what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a similar thing to what we did with the men on the Ontario-Saskatchewan game, and we quizzed the ladies on a lot of their stuff, so we'll be updating you about that throughout the game.
Interesting to note that this Ontario team went 8-1. Their only loss came to this BC team, 21-19 that game was, but BCB also has one loss, but their loss came against Ontario A, 13-14. So both teams here were 8-1. And the men's pairs gold medal match just finished. Ontario 20 over Saskatchewan 8. Stefan brothers are the new champions. Proof that they were the better brotherly duo, I suppose. I think I'm way off on my end calculation here. They're not playing their 13th end. They're playing number 9.
Yeah, they are.
Sorry about that.
So I'll just give our viewers a little quick rundown of the BC team. They all three belong to Richmond LBC and New Westminster LBC in BC. This is their first year bowling together as a triples team. So really, really good result for getting together the first time. Team Ontario, this is their first year together as a triples team. Of course, Lila and Crystal have been a pairs team for some time and won there, but as a triples team, this is the first. They have 4 medals together at the national championships. And last year, Helena and Lila played fours together and won the gold in Edmonton. So, well-seasoned team. But this is their first time together as a triples.
Interesting. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Cy English and Lady Alexander trophies. So for those of you who are viewing at home and don't know about it, the Cy English is given to the best men's team. So that's a total team effort from pairs, triples, and fours. Each province typically has one, but in the case of sending a B team, they have 2. So Ontario A is one team, Ontario B is a different team. So A's and B's are just slightly different. Thank you, David Anderson. He's going to go around and update us on scores for the women's matches, so we can update you there. I can see a couple of scoreboards. Manitoba's up 13-3 over Nova Scotia in the women's pairs. Looks like 13-5 between Alberta and Ontario. I think Alberta's up 13-5 over Ontario in the women's triples.
You can kind of see the ladies' fours. It looks like BCB is up 9-5 over Manitoba A after 9 ends.
But we'll wait for Dave Anderson to come back with us updated scores so we can tell you accurately what's what.
Bless you, Jake.
Thanks.
So Jenny Sue, who's on the BC team, she started bowling in 1996. Her husband saw a display in the mall and came home and signed up the whole family. And then the very next year, Jenny's family was at the display in the shopping mall, I guess, pushing it. So that's fantastic that some of the advertising works when we get it out there. Got to promote the sport, make sure it's well known in all provinces. And Jenny wants to give out a shout out to her husband Samuel and her daughter Vanessa. Vanessa is another active bowler on the BC scene. You'll often see her down at PIBC as well, which is the Pacific Indoor Bowls Club, which is the only full indoor bowls club that we have in Canada.
Speaking of Vanessa, she was on Twitter here saying, "Come on, BCB, too many close ones in the last few years." I had the chance to commentate with her at the North American Challenge last fall when that was at the PIBC. First time I've ever actually met her face to face.
And when we asked Lila Hassan from the Ontario team, she's from the Willowdale Lawn Bowling Club in Toronto, Ontario. She started in 1978. She has been to 10 nationals, including senior triples. And she wants to give a shout out to her husband Abdul Rahim and son Rahula. And I hope I got that correct. I probably butchered it pretty good.
Most likely, but at least they got the shout out. All right, Mr. Anderson is back with some scores.
It's the same order as this. That's the scores. Update, but the same order.
Okay, all right, beautiful. So it's women's triples in the gold. It's 18-4. If that's So I guess I need to update my scoreboard here as Ontario picked up another few. So 18-4, women's triples gold after 9. Women's fours, it's 5-6, BC over Manitoba. Women's pairs, Manitoba's up 13-4 over Nova Scotia. Bronze, BC is up 12-3 over Ontario, women's pairs. In women's triples, Alberta's up 13-7 over Ontario. And in women's fours, BC's up 12-3 over Nova Scotia. And almost all the games are at 9 ends, except for women's pairs are at 8, and women's triples are at 11 in the bronzes. So we will update you on scoreboards as we go, if we can. Once again, I want to give a big thanks to Davey Matthew for organizing things here with Annie Matthew. They've done a fantastic job, the two of them, for getting things ready to go for this week. It's been a really good week. I'm sure the players had a lot of fun and rolled some good bowls while they were here.
I'll definitely second that. They've done an amazing job in not only organizing and running events and speaking to people, keeping things going even after the day's done, and playing at the same time. That must be exhausting.
Oh, very close there. Also, big thanks to George Cubis and all the umpires for all the work they've done. All the other volunteers who've put in an effort and time to make this event a go. And I'll start off with this new broadcast thanking our sponsors and partners again, the Government of Canada through Sport Canada, the Coaching Association of Canada, Kukri, our official clothing supplier, and lawnbowlingmanager.com. If your club's looking for a new website or a better management system to look after your members, I would strongly recommend going to lawnbowlingmanager.com. See if you can get a free trial from Bona Lee. Free demo, rather. Sorry, she'll show you how to work everything and make it go. And as always, if you want to reach us on Facebook or Twitter, reach out to us at BCB Bowls on Twitter and at BCB Official on Facebook. And you can find Daryl at Canadian Bowler on Twitter. So it looks like Ontario has just been all over this game here. Women's triples in the first half. They're only just over halfway done, but it's 18-4. Looks like they're out for revenge, as this BC team was the only team that handed them a loss this week.
That's right.
Bit of a
Sometimes
grudge
it
match.
gives you the motivation to push harder.
It's also interesting when you get to play this team, or play any team again in a final, because you played them once already, so you already know what their strengths are, weaknesses, what they like, what they don't like, so you can start the game off already trying to play into their weaknesses or upset them off their groove from the get-go.
It's unfortunate that the shot just pushed the Ontario Bowl into the back. Crystal's just going to want Lila to draw into here.
And as you can see, lining the other outside of the rinks there is just a whole bunch of spectators, and that's only one side. The other side is lined, probably twice as many people watching, which is absolutely brilliant to see. If you're in the area, come on down to the Juan de Fuca Lawn Bowling Club and check out some excellent lawn bowling action. And while you're here, you can pick up some Bowls Canada gear from the booth. Big thanks to sportscanada.tv for providing us with equipment to broadcast to you today. And Layla is a little too quick, but Crystal really liked that bowl.
They're just looking to protect the back there.
Jenny's
in the count, who knows?
Jenny's quick on the mat to try to counter. Coming up well short there. Alan Steffen is quick on Twitter to like and retweet the tweets that Sarah's been putting out about Dave and Rob Steffen getting gold. Wonder if he's watching the broadcast. If he is, then nice to have you with us.
Oh, we have a measure here.
Well,
See
we've
how many.
already kicked out a couple. That's another.
You'll be able to see in the head Ontario player. It's Crystal Shepherd. She's from Willowdale, LBC. She's played for 25 years.
Holy.
This is her 6th majors, and her favorite memory is winning the pairs gold at nationals with Lila, her current skip. And she wanted to give a quick shout out to her family who are tuning in to the stream from PEI.
Good old Prince Edward Island. I have to say, I have worked a little bit with the Prince Edward Island folks, and they are absolute gems to work with. Great group of people down at the, I think it's the Sherwood Lawn Bowling Club in Prince Edward Island. So Ontario picked up a 3 there to make this 21-4. This is really a one-sided affair so far. We'll see if BCB can turn things around for the second half of this game, now that they're starting end number 11. And if if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on Twitter or Facebook. We'd love to hear from you and make it a little more interactive. It doesn't necessarily have to be about this game. It could be about any game or anything to do with the sport of lawn bowls in Canada or internationally. We'll start a discussion about it. Looks like these women are struggling to find the right length, as the mat is up a fair bit.
The player on the mat right now is Helena Ho. She's from Ontario. She plays out of Agincourt LBC, which is also in the Toronto area.
Oh, yeah.
She's actually been playing for 28 years.
Holy.
It just keeps getting longer and longer here.
Yeah, really.
This is her third national championship, and she has played at the Mixed Pairs Nationals as well. And she wants to give out a shout out to her husband, Stanley.
Stanley.
I've played against most of the ladies from Ontario, and I can tell you they're very nice ladies to talk to and chat with, but I would never want to meet them on a bowling green because they are fierce competitors and excellent bowlers. I've also seen him played with some of the BC ladies. I know Jenny was out for the NAC.
That's
playing
right.
for
That's
Team
right.
Canada when it was here, and did very well. Excellent bowler, and very nice. So Vanessa, I know you're watching, so say it, so you know I said nice things. Okay.
I believe last year when I was streaming in Edmonton, I told Jenny that Vanessa was watching, and I can't remember what Jenny said. I think it was something like "get back to work" or something like that. Didn't even want to say hi. Jurgen Fessler is tuning in, but he's curious about men's fours. So it's 16-8 for Alberta over Ontario in that gold medal men's fours match. We can update you scores as we go on that. In the bronze pairs, it's 15-9 Alberta over Nova Scotia. And in the bronze triples, it's, wow, 21-19 Nova Scotia over Ontario. That's a tight game. High scoring affair as well. It's a beautiful bowl there.
Give you some more information on Rainbow Lung. She started bowling in 2004. She knew of bowls while she was living in Hong Kong, but at that time it was only accessible to very wealthy individuals. Almost seems like the old evolution of bowls in the UK and whatnot. It was a very aristocratic type of sport, but now it's accessible to everybody, and she's saying now it's very accessible in Hong Kong as well. And it wasn't until she moved to Canada that she was actually able to play.
Interesting.
Her favorite memory, she says they're all her favorite memories. She always finds playing bowls awesome.
That was a great shot there from Crystal Shepherd. Carry on.
And a quick shout out to her son Jenkin and daughter-in-law Kathy, who are watching from England.
Did you say her son Jenkin?
Yeah.
That's a great name. Might be a name I steal from my future kids.
There you go.
Jenkin. I like that. I like
Jenkin
that a lot.
and Jake, eh?
Future men's pairs team.
All right. The double J's.
Yeah.
Crystal going up to take a look at the head. See what's going on.
Lila's all the way down here still. Oh, sorry, that's
Helena.
Helena. Sorry. Backside view, hard to tell. Can't see a face there. PCB is up 13-4 over Ontario, and that would be women's pairs.
Yep.
Manitoba A is up 13-5 over Nova Scotia, and that's the women's pairs gold. Looks like 13-11 for Alberta over Ontario. Down on ring 6, I believe that would be women's triples bronze.
Yes, that is correct.
And I think it's 10-5 for BC over Manitoba in the gold fours for women.
Crystal just getting ready to deliver a bowl now.
Hard to believe this is the last match that I'll be commentating with you for the year.
That's right. That's
Yeah, 'cause you're not going to be coming up to the singles. That's rather unfortunate. Starting to get used to having you here as my sidekick.
I miss you too, Jake. It has been fun. Commentating is great. You get to watch some fantastic games, make some predictions that never come through, and
Yep. I'll see if the commentator's curse still carries over to Winnipeg. It's been, nothing but incorrect predictions from our part, I'm afraid.
So another member of that BC team is Lisa Chung. She started bowling in 2008. She started bowling after she watched friends and family play for over 5 years, and then finally decided to give it a try. It's a pretty common story with bowls. Her biggest influence was teacher and coach Chester Young from Richmond Lawn Bowling Club.
Ah.
And she wanted to give a quick shout out to her daughter Rosella.
Rosella.
Very nice name.
Very nice name indeed. And so as Layla's stepping up for the match, she has those raspberry ripple colored bowls.
Yeah, that is pink.
Pinky color, yeah. Pinky purple. The women's fours match on the rink next door, BC against Manitoba. The BC ladies are the only team here that went undefeated, and they are on their way to staying that way, which is no easy task to go an entire week without a loss.
That's true.
I know some people are always worried that when you go undefeated in round robin, that first loss is going to be the one when it matters most. So some people are actually quite happy to get one loss in the round robin to get it out of the way with.
Definitely depends whether you believe in that superstition, where and it can get in your head too.
Oh yeah.
If you believe it, sometimes those things come true. So. I don't know what's going on the mat here.
Yeah,
We got,
so you can see Jenny's just got her arm wrapped around Layla. I think they're asking about bowls. Whose bowls is who? So she's up there saying, "Hey, that's mine. That's yours. That's mine." I think. I could be wrong on that, but I definitely wouldn't expect that Jenny's up there saying, "Hey, why don't you play this shot?" I wouldn't expect that. I believe the two of them know each other, though. They probably have known each other for a while.
Yeah.
Just coming up a little bit short.
Just a bit.
A little bit of discussion about who won the men's fours bronze game, as they were very quick to leave and then the scoreboards flipped back to 0. So just a quick clarification. I believe it was BC that won that fours match, but I could be wrong. We're going to send someone out to clarify. Cam LaFriend is chiming in saying always lose a game. So he's of the type that if you're going to lose, you want to make sure you lose one in the round robin. Unless you're Cam, in which case you can just blow a final and be called Quicksilver for 5 years or so.
Jake throwing out some epic burns while he's on live TV. We love you, Cam.
Only because I know he's not here to defend himself. Fresh off his under 25 gold medal championship. So, now starting end number 12, and that was a 1 for BCB there, making it 21-5. Playing number 12.
When you're managing a game and you're up by this much, like Ontario is, giving up a 1 is certainly in the budget.
Just to clarify, Cam has 7 silvers to his name.
So Jake wasn't lying.
Definitely wasn't lying about that. Sorry about that. I'll falling asleep at the switcher here. That was a great shot there from Helena. 7 silver. That's a pretty good record. That means you're in at least 7 finals.
That's right.
How many golds do you have, Cam, aside from 1 this year? And as always, if you do have any questions about anything Bulls related, let us know. I know that a couple of games ago we had a very lengthy discussion about the competition review and how things are changing for 2018 and beyond. And if you have any questions about that or comments, feel free to send us an email. office@bullscanada.com is the email address you can use, and we'll make sure someone gets around to it, gets an answer back to you. Unfortunately, this week I don't think we've been monitoring that email, as we just haven't had the time. We've been pretty busy here at the majors, lots going on.
Nice bowl from BC. Lila's taking a good look at it to see what's going on. Kind of indicated that Ontario was holding 1. She's okay with the shot down the right-hand side to either bump her in or push BC out.
Cam's giving me some clarification. I asked him how many golds he's got, and he said 1 this year, unless you count Atlantics, 1 in that too. So that would be 2 gold, 7 silver.
The ratio's getting better, Cam. That's all that matters.
Yeah, it's getting better.
What a brilliant bowl there.
What a bowl.
And you got the one that counts. You're going to Australia.
And that's right.
That's a pretty decent prize at the end of the competition.
For those who haven't been to Australia, I would strongly recommend it. Oh, what a shot. What a shot. I would strongly recommend going to Australia. You can sign up for the Australian Open. That happens every year, I believe in the spring. If I'm not mistaken, it was around April this year. Next year that won't be the case due to the Commonwealth Games, but definitely check out the Australian Open. It's a great tournament that you can play in some really good greens. Get some international experience under your belt.
It's true, and there's a lot of Canadians that go over.
Oh, yeah.
I know fair contingent from Nova Scotia went this year.
Mm-hmm.
Crystal just trying to come through with a little bit of weight. Ending up out of bounds.
I'm excited for the outdoor singles here in Canada in a couple weeks, as the winner of that will be able to go to the Champion of Champions next year and represent Canada, and that'll be down in St. John's Park in New South Wales, Australia. The chance to represent Canada is such a wonderful thing if you can wear that maple leaf on your back, and the open singles, or the outdoor singles rather, is such a great way to go and do it, because then I know some people don't like singles, but I find it to be a bit easier of a game as you're just there and it's you. You can't blame your team. You can't blame anyone but yourself. And if you bowl lights out for a week, then you have no one but yourself to thank for that, really. I guess you should thank your coach if you have a coach and anyone you've trained with, really. But
it's all you.
It's all you, though.
It's interesting to watch these ladies pick up Crystal's bowls. You probably can't see it on your monitor, but Crystal does play with larger bowls that you don't necessarily see on, especially on this rink. Based on your hand size and your ability to control bowls, the recommendation is always to get a bowl that fits your hand. So you don't see too many 4s, 5s, and above in the ladies' games because generally they do have smaller hands. And you want something that you can roll well and play well. And Crystal plays with 4s, I believe. And when Lila and Jenny are picking them up, they look gigantic. But Crystal plays them exceptionally well. She's been playing with them for quite some time. So.
I've seen a lot of different ways now for how to size a bowl to your hand. The traditional way was always just to try to join your thumb and middle finger around it, make sort of an O, and if you can touch middle fingers, then it's a pretty good size. But I've seen a few different ways coming out now of just holding it out in front of you upside down, and if you can take your thumb off it without dropping it, then it's a pretty good size to be holding if it feels comfortable that you can hold it out with one hand in front of you, upside down, hand on top. And I've seen a few others as well. So trying to get away from that traditional if you can have thumb and middle finger touch, because just because you can do that doesn't necessarily mean that you can control it. It might still be too big if your middle finger's only just touching.
That's right.
At the end of the day, it's whatever feels comfortable in your hand.
That's right. You don't want to drop it or dump it or chuck it. So you want to make sure you have a bowl that you can roll smoothly, have a lot of control, and feel good with.
If you use the make the O with your thumb and middle fingers touching, I could probably use a size 7 if I actually picked up a set and had those touch, and size 7 would be fine, but I play with a size 5. They don't actually make 6s or 7s anymore. 5 is as big as they go. So the men's 4s, Alberta is up 17-8 over Ontario in the gold medal men's 4s match. They're about to start end number 16.
Bringing up the mat fairly short as well.
And men's pairs, 17-11 Alberta over Nova Scotia, going home. Men's triples, holy smokes, 21-20 Nova Scotia, playing the last end. Men's triples bronze, that's a barn burner of a game. Just crashing in front.
Crystal just calling for a nice draw. Get something close.
Draw into the pile, and you can see, can't see that yet, but she did have her foot next to the jack for where she wanted it. Just draw to my foot here.
Just playing heavy through the head. Flying by.
Emma Boyd asking how's the BCB Women's 4s going on the rink over. Let's see if I can find that scoreboard. It looks like it's 15-5 BCB over Manitoba in the gold medal 4s match. Gold medal pairs, I can see Nova Scotia is 5, and I think Manitoba, can't quite see, 16-5 Manitoba over Nova Scotia, women's pairs gold medal final. 13-5 for BC over Ontario in the women's pairs bronze.
There you go. Crystal liking that bowl.
Yeah, you can always tell when Crystal likes a bowl if she makes a fist and sort of shakes her hand over her head saying, "Yeah, yas."
I think it cut them down from quite a multiple. Could have been 3 or 4.
So I think that was 2. Yeah, 2 for BC to make it
BC.
21-7. They're starting to claw their way back up into this game. 4 ends to go in this triples gold medal match. So as this is the last year for the triples, as we saw in the match earlier this morning, Saskatchewan goes out on top as the last team to win the men's triples for the next foreseeable future anyway, if and when it does get brought back. It's always kind of nice to go out on top, knowing that you're the last team to be able to put your name on that trophy.
That's right.
Earl Friedman over here, men's fours, Ontario, just about trailed the jack to the ditch. I'm always scared about being narrow and heavy when you see someone like that doing that. I'm not sure if that's what he was trying to do as a lead, to trail the jack into the ditch. Definitely one of the most frustrating things is when the lead puts the jack in the ditch. The rest of the game, what are you going to do? So the bronze men's pairs game is finishing, as you can hear the smattering of applause, and Greg Wilson, Derek Dillon pick up a bronze medal over Terry O'Neill and Doug McLaren. It was 17-11. I'm not sure what the final score was in that end. That's a pretty good bowl there. Now I heard that throughout the week there was some difference in green speed between deck to deck, but I heard right off the get-go that the two that are most similar are A and D, which are what the people are playing on here today. The men were on A and the women are on D. So these green speeds are probably going to be pretty similar, and we were clocking the A are getting close to 13 seconds this morning, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's something close to that here for the women as well. Big thanks to the greenskeepers who are out there looking after the greens early each morning. By the time we get here at 7:30 in the morning, they're almost done rolling them. I'm assuming they cut them before that as well. I'm not sure, but hats off to them. It's been a long week that they've been taking care of the grass. Men's fours is still going on. Jurgen just sent me a message asking who won the men's fours gold. That game is still going on. It's 17-8 Alberta over Ontario, playing 16. So Alberta's off to a lead anyway. Interesting that we televise our national championships, or live stream them, I guess, at the majors. I don't recall many other countries doing that, and so we're sort of on the leading edge for doing that. Same with creating videos. I know the promo videos that we released earlier this year got shared worldwide and got a whole lot of views and likes and comments and shares from bowlers around the world. We had several bowls nations reach out to us actually and saying, hey, when are the next ones coming out? So there's a lot of people looking for it, looking for videos. Crystal Shepherd, that's a pretty good bowl there. Rainbow Long is coming in close. That's probably shot itself.
Great
no,
ball.
Maybe
Great,
not
great
quite.
ball.
Just fell in. Close. Close.
And Ontario is happy to keep it close, and it's in the 1 or 2 range.
That's the kicker here, is to keep playing, to keep things close. I've seen so many teams with a lead like this blow it because they start throwing drives rather than just trying to draw a second shot. If you only give up 1 for the rest of the game, you're set.
Yep, absolutely.
There's
You
no
got to
need.
manage that game. It's not about racking up your score in the gold. You either win or you lose.
In my personal opinion, once you're up by a lead that big, there's almost no need to be throwing a drive. Almost. If you can draw a second shot, you can just do that every end and cruise to the win. Get that draw weight down.
How about that men's triples game?
How about that men's triples game? 21-21, they're playing an extra end. Fancy that. That bronze medal match is down to the wire. Two very evenly matched teams, I suppose. That Nova Scotia team is actually where we started streaming this week, as they played on A7 and dropped to 7s, and we're down 7 coming home, and then picked up an 8 to win. Very, very entertaining match. I'm sure there are many people that are looking forward to rewatching that or watching it for the first time.
That's right.
I know I'm one of those. I'm looking forward to rewatching that. Jenny's just coming up a little bit inside there. I can't get over how quiet it's been here this week. This is quite the complex where they have tennis, baseball, golf, lacrosse, hockey, swimming. They have a riding track out back there for bikes to cycle around. I think they play football on the turf as well as soccer. So it's just quite a huge complex, but it seems like nobody's here. Like, this is the only event. I wonder if they rented out the whole facility for the week, because I haven't seen or heard of many other people here.
We did have some BMX racing going on
Yeah.
this morning.
Don't know if you heard the applause, but in the men's fours action over here on A6, I think Pat Bird just either tickled the jack on his way to the ditch or pushed a ball in the ditch. The jack is very close to the ditch board, but Pat clearly made a good shot that people were applauding.
Lila hoping to get some action on this.
Crashed on a short bowl. Lila's one that's not afraid to throw some weight, though. I've definitely seen her and Crystal, when they play together, they're smart, but they're also aggressive. They can wind up and let her fly if need be.
Absolutely.
Quick high five there. Teamwork is huge in a team game like this.
Everybody needs to know what they're doing.
Positive reinforcement is always key. I've played on many a team where some players aren't as positive or as encouraging as you might need, depending on who you are. I know some players hardly even speak to each other because they just don't need that positive reinforcement, but others need that, hey, keep it up, keep going, we're in this as a team type of mentality.
Some lengthy discussion about this because score is critical in these final ends.
It is. BCB needs 14 points in a matter of 4 ends. So that's no easy task. They need to count multiples here. 1 simply will not cut it, I don't think. And this is Jenny's last bowl as well. Jenny's coming in there through the port. I'm not sure if she's looking to grab the jack on her way by or if she's just looking for position. Lila has 1 left to come.
Oh, Lila just gave her the little chicken gesture.
Yep, yep.
And they both had quite a laugh at it, so obviously.
Too chicken to throw it.
Yeah, she's just gonna throw it away. She's okay with what the head is.
Well, that's probably a smart thing to do.
Eight. BC picking up 1 there.
Smart decision from Layla not to throw it, because if I'm in her shoes, I'm more than okay with just giving up 1, because now that means you have to get 13 points in 3 ends, and that's tougher than 14 and 4.
That's right.
That's a 4, a 4, and a 5 if my math is any good, which is definitely not an easy task against this team, but anything's possible.
Absolutely.
That could be the beginning of a pocket, as Jenny's first, or not Jenny, sorry. Lisa's first bowl is well past the jack. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to reposition our camera to see that short jack or any short bowls, as the banner there is right in the way.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything we can do about that. So hopefully you'll be able to see a whole lot of back bowls coming here this end then. Sorry about that, folks. Lila's coming up trying to cheer it on. Elena's bowl is probably 5 feet short. So the key here for BC is to make sure every bowl is past the jack, as you want to give yourself an opportunity to count 4 or 5. That's a pretty good bowl there from Lisa. Want to try to build a pocket, or just, make sure you have an opportunity, so when your skip gets to the mat, they can make a shot or 2 to count multiples.
Absolutely.
Short bowl simply will not do. And so far Lisa's obliged and had every bowl past the jack. I hear a crying baby, which might be the first time that Everett's not happy. Little 4-month-old here from Alberta. Jen and John McDonald we're both competing here. Unfortunately, John lost in a tiebreaker yesterday, but Jen is still playing in a bronze medal match, I believe. If I'm looking at the right scoreboard, she's up 19-11. Women's triples bronze.
That's right.
That men's fours gold medal final, it seems like a lot of the battle of the leads here. Last end, the leads put the jack just an inch from the ditch, and here, this end, very next one, not sure which lead it was. One of them just trailed the jack into the ditch. Anyway.
Yeah, Ontario holding 1 currently. Lila just asking Crystal to draw a little bit past her last ball.
Mm-hmm. So fortunately this end there have been a lot of back bowls. With the decision camera the way it is, you can actually see almost everything that's going on. Men's triples bronze medal match just finished, and I don't know who got it, whether it was Nova Scotia or Ontario, as they were playing an extra end. You'll have to stay tuned to our Twitter or Facebook account, as Sarah or Anna will be tweeting it out, I'm sure. It was Nova Scotia, 22-21. So Crystal just came down to talk with Lila about what to do and to take a look at the head.
I want to make sure they keep it one.
Mm-hmm.
They're more than happy to take one. I'm sure.
Yeah. These are two very smart players. Shepard has a pretty smooth delivery there.
Yeah, Lila's down watching it come in.
Yeah, very close.
Oh, she was going for that blue ball.
Mm-hmm. Just missed. Looking around the rinks, if I can update you on a few scores. It's 15-7 BCB over Manitoba, women's 4 is gold. It's 18-8 Manitoba over Nova Scotia in women's pairs gold. 13-5 BC over Ontario, women's pairs bronze. I can't quite see the other two scoreboards. 19-11, I believe that's Alberta over Ontario in women's triples bronze.
Yep.
And the rink down at the far end there, I cannot see at all. But that is the fours bronze. I can see that Nova Scotia has 5, but I can't see the other half of the scoreboard.
BC coming all the way to the back with their ball, I guess, just in case the jack gets smoked into the back.
Mm-hmm.
Lila's coming in with a little weight.
Well,
just getting wide.
So Crystal had her finger up in the air, so I think Ontario is still lying 1. $19-5 in that bronze medal match. BC over Nova Scotia. Lila's certainly not being afraid of it. Her bowls are all reaching.
They have plenty in the back that they can work with. So.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny just rocking that Crystal shot ball in there.
Crystal's asking, do you want to just take the 1? And I guess Hassan just said, nope. No, I do not. Let me draw. She's just inside, so I believe that'll be 1 to Ontario, which would make it 22-8 if, yeah. With 2 ends to go. So it's a 14-point game, 2 ends to go. I think the BC women might have yielded.
It's possible because they need a 5 to even give themselves a chance to
I think she's coming to have a chat maybe with the team manager, as Jenny Sue just walked off to have a chat with someone behind the fence. Hassan is still staying down at the other end, though, slowly walking back this way to see what's what. I believe in the conditions of play, it states as soon as it's mathematically impossible, then the game is over. You're not allowed to actually play any more ends. So it is still mathematically possible, but I don't know if they're going to try to play it out or not. And I think that they're having a little discussion. Hassan is saying it's up to you, and they're shaking hands. That is the game for the women's triples. So Ontario B will take the gold, and BCB will take the silver. You can hear Crystal making some noise.
She's never one to shy away from celebrating, for sure.
No, she is not. Not sure if we can actually pick up the fours action next door. If we can make that out, we can keep that going. They only have another 4 ends to go.
They're
16-7 BC over Manitoba. 16-7 playing 15.
Give you another medal update. The game is just finished in the men's fours gold medal final. Alberta A takes the gold, and Ontario B will take the silver. Really good tournament for both of these teams. They all played very, very well throughout the whole week.
So yeah, I think we will definitely keep these cameras rolling. I might need to get up there and reposition the one right behind us, so I'll hop up there and change a few things while you can watch the Manitoba and BC action.
We got Jake running to try to update the scores for you. And he's going to adjust this camera as well. Trying to get a little closer. Currently this game is 16 for BCB, 7 for Manitoba after 14 ends.
Is the other camera need?
No, I think we're okay. Manitoba just looking for one in the head. Just asking for a draw. So we got this match. BCB is British Columbia B is a team of Josephine Lee, Priscilla Westlake, Serena Mack, and Gigi Chan. And we've got the Manitoba women's fours, which is Elaine Jones, Betty Van Wallingham, Betty Grundy, and Sandra Mulholland.
See if we can update the scoreboard here to more accurately reflect what's going on in this game here now.
I knew you were watching. I'm glad you were sitting there at the end of our Stefan game on that.
It's a little more accurate there, 16-7 I think.
You might see all the people moving around. They're trying to readjust themselves to watch the finals on the women's side now. And there's a lot of rowdy people behind us with games finishing up and people celebrating and talking about their games. Made shots, missed shots. Good times, bad times.
Lots of discussion. It's great to see so many friends made here too. A lot of people are here reconnecting with a lot of friends they've made over the years. I'm glad that some people on Twitter are liking the great teamwork scores on Twitter and commentator remarks on streaming. We're doing the best we can here, so glad that you're appreciating it. We'll continue to try to grow and improve for next year. I know there's a lot of things that we learned this year that we can improve on for next year. And now that there's just these women's games going on here, these last few, there's a whole lot of comments going on behind us, but there's also a whole lot of spectators that have really zoned in here now and focused on these last events. The whole deck is just lined with spectators. So, if you do have any questions, comments, or concerns after this event is done, you can still get in touch with us through email, or you can still always leave us a message on Facebook or Twitter after this event is done. We will still monitor those pages and avenues of communication, of course. So don't hesitate to get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. I know a lot of people are, I don't want to say scared, but don't feel they're important enough to get in touch with Bowls Canada, but we want to connect with you, the bowler. So if you have ideas on how we can better connect to the bowlers throughout the country, then let us know. I believe that Sarah actually has a poll going on our Facebook page or Twitter that says, how would you like us to get in touch with you, through newsletters or through social media, through our website, what works best for you, and we're always looking for ways that we can improve that and increase that communication from us to you. If you haven't already, subscribe to our newsletters. I believe it's on our homepage if you go there and click the subscribe button. Sarah's been really good at sending out a weekly This Week in Bowls blurb so you can see what's going on, what deadlines are coming up, what events are going on. It's just a quick little reminder. Looks like getting down to measure there. And look how quick the players are kicking in all the bowls that aren't in the count. That's beautiful. That is absolutely wonderful to see. They're not in the count. Get them out of the way. You can rake them up already. Just make sure you're only kicking in the bowls that aren't in the count. The ones that aren't going to be measured. So I believe that was another one for BC. Which will make it 17-7 after 15 ends. So there's 3 to go. 10-point game. We'll see if Manitoba can turn things around for the last 3 ends. One of the big changes for next year for the majors is, since triples is no longer part of it, smaller clubs can now host the majors, the Canadian Lawn Bowling Championships, with just 4s and pairs for the first half. This could ideally be hosted on just 3 decks, but if we work in some buys and some evening draws, we could even do it on 2 decks. So if you're a club with 2 decks, or have another club nearby, you can host this event next year and future years, which is pretty exciting. That makes it more accessible for some of our smaller clubs in Canada.
Well, BC's really urging that ball
really
on.
cheering that in there. And the guys are walking here with the ramp. I'm not sure where they're going with it. Right in front of us, I think. Not sure what they're bringing on here. Maybe the podiums.
That might be ready for the parade going in.
Oh yeah.
They're getting ahead of the games.
So apologies for the background noise. There are quite a few people here. I'm sure the mics are probably picking up some of that. Thankfully, the internet held up here for these finals. I was worried that connection would be slow and speeds would be down, but apparently that wasn't the case. I didn't hear any complaints or concerns. I do want to thank all of you who have been reaching out to us on Facebook and Twitter, letting us know that something's going wrong or you're not getting audio or whatnot. That is greatly appreciated to know that something's not quite right. We need the feedback from you to know that something's down that we need to fix. So this BCB team is made up of Josephine Lee, Priscilla Westlake, Serena Mack, and Gigi Chan, and they haven't lost a game all week and are looking to finish their week undefeated as they're up 17-7 over Manitoba's Elaine Jones, Betty Van Wellingham, Brenda Frank, and Sandra Mulholland. I believe that Elaine, Betty, and Sandra were the triples winners last year. I remember filming them in the final, gold medal match for women's triples. And I remember it was Elaine and Betty, and I believe it was Sandra as well, that won gold last year in triples. So now they've added on Brenda and are looking to see if they can do it in fours as well.
Very capable Manitoba team.
Gigi Chan also won the women's pairs last year, I believe. Got a gold in pairs with Vivian Chan. And I know Josephine Lee has been a staple of the mixed pairs over the years. She won with her and Bartu. I think they've won it 5 times, the two of them. They're quite the dynamic duo in the mixed pairs field.
That's right. Priscilla just coming up short of their first ball.
Priscilla, of course, is on our senior national squad, and she's essentially been living in Australia the past couple of years. She's been to the World Youth Championships 3 or 4 times. This year she got a gold, won the World Youth Championships, which is fantastic that Canada finally got a medal, and a gold at that. And then, of course, she was there for the World Cup after winning the Canadian Indoor, the Multi-Nations event, which was sort of a test match for the Commonwealth Games. Got a bronze medal in the 4s there. Spending a lot of time down under.
She's definitely traveled. She has definitely been at the top of her game for the last few years. And we'll see if she can add another gold to her growing trophy closet.
Picked up a silver at the Canadian Under-25 event here a couple weeks ago in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. I guess I shouldn't really be saying here. It's here in Canada, but way over on the East Coast.
Lane Jones just coming up short as well.
Yeah, a little bit short and narrow. It's great to see so many young bowlers who have been playing in the juniors and under-25s and are here today as well. That's promising, and I'm not saying that just because they're young players. I'm saying that because that means that they've got 30, 40, 50 years ahead of them. And if they're playing at the junior nationals and then these nationals, I'd like to think that they're committed to the sport. So that means we've got members that are going to be continually playing for the next 30, 40, 50 years, which is excellent to see that that we've got people who are committed, people for the long run.
So it took an exceptional amount of time setting and resetting her delivery, but still coming up short on her draw. Lane trying to get a few more feet out of her bowl and draw a nice one in here.
For some people who are viewing this, you might not know that Bowls Canada actually has several resources available to help you try to grow your club, increase your membership, and improve your club. We have a promotional brochure which is free of charge, so if you're looking to get some brochures that you can hand out and put in people's mailboxes or keep at your club and give to new potential members or whatnot, let us know. We can ship you some. They're completely free. That's a service that we offer. We also have a handbook that is essentially what is bowls for someone who's new and joining for the first time. We charge $3.50 for those just to cover the cost of production. And then, of course, there's those videos that you can check out on YouTube, or if you go to our website, it's under the videos tab as well. That's a great way to explain what is bowls to someone who doesn't know, as well as show them the basics of how to deliver a bowl in under 3 minutes.
And if you don't know what Jake looks like already, if you look at that delivery video, it's actually Jake delivering the bowl.
Yeah. Big thanks to the Highlands Park Lawn Bowling Club is where we filmed that. But yeah, so we're always working to try to help out the clubs to get new members and grow your membership and build and expand, increase and grow. Unfortunately, there's only so much we can do in a year, as we do still have other commitments and priorities that we need to do. Our national team is a big one. But each year we're looking to try to come out with something new, something different, try to help you out in different ways. So if you have any ideas or thoughts on what we should do next to help your club out, let us know. There is a third video that is very near production that's going to be geared towards sponsorship in the commercial side of lawn bowling. If you're looking to get partners or sponsors for your club or tournaments or whatnot, then we're hoping this video will help you attract new sponsors. And if you have ideas for new videos that you'd like to see, let us know. I know we asked this earlier in the week, and I believe in Nova Scotia as well, for thoughts and ideas for what the next videos should be about. Some might want it to be about technical aspects, some might want strategy, some might want it to be something else altogether. And I think our internet speed has just been conked out here. Wondering if is that plugged in still?
Yeah.
Still turned on? We are not streaming at all here anymore.
No, it's not.
Completely dead?
I wonder if it's the... Oh, here we go. When did that happen?
I'm not sure how or why that happened. It's our rocket hub just completely died. It's plugged in too, so that's really bizarre. There we go. It's firing back up here now. I'm not sure why that happened. Apologies, folks. BCB did come away with the victory on that, as they're clapping hands and shaking hands. That is just the most bizarre thing, that internet just completely disappeared. And I think we're back. Sorry about that, folks. That's just the weirdest thing. Our internet just completely died, and everything's plugged in. It just disappeared. Sincerest apologies about that. You missed out on the final there as they started to shake hands. BCB did take the gold in the women's fours over Manitoba. And so the next drink over, if we can get that, is women's pairs. That's Manitoba and Nova Scotia. Manitoba's up, I think, 16-11. I can see Nova Scotia has 11 in that women's pairs match anyway.
Looks like they're pulling quite a few bowls out for Nova Scotia, so this could be a
Barn burner of a finish.
Turning point for Nova Scotia.
So this Manitoba will...
So if anybody is tuning back in, just a quick update on the ladies fours. BCB did win that game over Manitoba. We are now trying to look at the ladies pairs.
Yeah, women's pairs gold medal match. It's 19-15.
Picked up a 4.
4-point game with 2 to go. Let me see if that's other... Yeah, that might be okay if we leave that where it is. I'll hop down there and maybe zoom in a bit.
Careful, guys.
Ready, guy? You okay?
I think so. Yep. With having so many volunteers walking back and forth, every once in a while they forget that to walk over the mat, over our cables, and come really close to the table and almost wait things out. We got lucky there that they only that they caught themselves pretty early. Jake just trying to adjust our camera to get a better angle. I'm getting some pictures taken in front of this end, so it's a little hard to see, but it's picture time. So
Oh, okay.
we're okay. Scotia probably looking to get a 2 out of this if possible. Close the gap. Currently 4 down.
So we actually streamed these 2 teams earlier. I don't know if you mentioned that, but this is a bit of a grudge match here now, as Shirley Fitzpatrick Wong and Clarice Fitzpatrick are against Lena Cameron and Patty Granville. Manitoba. That's a mother-daughter dynamic duo.
Yeah, they've played with each other quite a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
Had a lot of success.
So I'm trying to look at that score on the rink beside them in the women's triples, or sorry, the women's pairs, bronze. I can see Ontario has 8, and I know BC's in double digits, 16. So 16-8 in that women's pairs bronze medal match. And women's fours, I can see that BC has 23, and I can't quite see what Nova Scotia has. And they're playing their 17th end in the fours bronze. $23.10 is the bronze medal score. It always looks to me like Clarice is firing whenever she delivers a bowl, but it's not the case.
Getting her in the back.
No, she's definitely there, but not a drive. Clarice, of course, has a wealth of experience, as both her and her daughter Shirley have played internationally and had the maple leaf on their back several times before. And I know that Lena Cameron has her fair share of experience. I remember meeting her at a training camp one time. I would assume that she has international experience as well, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't think Patty has, though. If the game that we streamed them on is any indication, though, Patty is certainly a capable lead. There's Lena.
Yeah.
Just coming through the head, grabbing the jack on the way. We saw an awful lot of that earlier in the week. Lots of congratulatory hugs and well wishes going around the greens.
You can see David Matthew just creeping on the screen down there, wanting to see what's going on.
Big thanks to him for helping to organize this. It's no easy task to organize and play, as he was playing in the event as well. Cam just said that Graham's making the comeback. I'm not sure who Graham is. Oh, Grandma. Sorry, I was thinking Christy Graham because he skipped the fours team to their bronze medal victory. Graham making the comeback. Gotcha. Sorry, Cam.
Lena is Cameron LaFrenze's grandmother, representing Nova Scotia. There's a lot of family and friends out and around the country for these competitors here today. Shirley's chasing this down. She must like it. Just sneaking by.
As always, if you have any questions or comments, reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter.
Lina's taking a good look at the head.
Mm-hmm.
See if she can manufacture some points out of here, close that gap.
This is definitely a crucial end. This is really a game-changing moment here. If Manitoba scores, that's putting some nails in the coffin. But if Nova Scotia scores, then that really opens that door just a fraction more to see if they can mount the full comeback. Round of applause. I guess the fours bronze medal match is coming to a close as BC wins 23-13 over Nova Scotia. Women's fours bronze goes to BC. So if I'm not mistaken, this might be the last game still going on. And Lina has thrown it.
One of the players just went through the
Testing procedure?
doping testing procedure. I'm glad it was only 2 samples I needed.
So Lina did throw her bowl, and Shirley has one more to come.
This doesn't look too good for Manitoba, I think. Oh.
Momentum change, potentially.
Lina's bringing down the rake. I think she's possibly going to concede this match.
They're having a good discussion here.
Yeah, and there's the
And
hugs.
there's the hugs. So that's it. Manitoba will take the gold, and Nova Scotia will take the silver in the women's pairs. So that is it for us now. I know that a lot of people actually quite enjoyed the medal presentations. We'll turn it off for now. Once the award ceremony starts, we'll put it back on, although there won't be any audio. It'll just be video. We'll point the cameras there, so I'm not sure how much longer that'll be.
But we'll try to let you know once it's up and running.
Actually, I guess there's actually still the women's pairs bronze is still going on. I didn't see that behind all the ladies still playing. We can zoom over onto that.
How many ends have they played?
I don't see too many people in front of the scoreboard.
Oh, this is their final end.
16-9 in the women's pairs. No, not quite. They still have...
Is that pairs?
yeah, potentially a couple more. 16-9, BC is up over Ontario, so it's a 7-point spread. If Ontario can count here, they'll get back in, but if not, then BC might be running away with it. Apologies about that. Didn't want to inadvertently cut someone off. We'll try to get as much airtime as we can here for all the medalists. See if I can update the scoreboard here. So Ontario's at 9. BC is at 16. They've played 15. I believe that's Ontario B.
Yes, that is Ontario B.
And that's also
Great
BC
shot there.
B, I think.
Yes, that's on BCB as well.
Oh, sorry, that's Ontario A. My bad. Ontario A is playing BCB in the bronze medal match for women's pairs, which is what this is.
Okay. Yep.
Whoops. I should know that too, because I actually know those Ontario women. Cindy Higgins and Carol Finlayson. And they are playing against Linda Robbins and Patricia Levy. Apologies for butchering that last name. I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
Fairly loose head, but I believe the jack has been dragged back.
So Carol is playing with some standout yellow bowls. You can see those from a distance.
Ernie with his giant jug of water. It's massive.
It is huge. It's going to be huge. So one last time I want to give a big thanks to all the volunteers, not just from Wanda Fuca Club, but also from the surrounding clubs who have come down to help out and make this a success. Annie and Davey Math, they did a fantastic job putting things together for this. They had a whole truckload of volunteers. There were dozens upon dozens of people here each day, and they're so quick to clean up too afterwards. George Cubis and the umpiring committee, or umpiring crew, I guess. There were a bunch of them, and they worked hard all week. I'd have to say that this is a fantastic event. I've only been to the one last year and the one this year, and both times they were absolutely wonderful to attend. So, if possible, whenever the Canadian Championships are around, go on down and check it out.
Absolutely. You won't be disappointed. There's a lot of teams to watch, a lot of games to watch. Fantastic bowls and fantastic bowlers. And the atmosphere is always great.
Linda Robbins just pulled a really good bowl there from BC. Now it's Cindy Higgins' turn. She has red bowls, just got a nice kiss onto the jack.
Just trailing it through, and
it's a pretty good
not
redirect.
staying with it. BC's down one.
So Ontario's holding one. Carol's yellow bowl is shot.
Linda Robbins just coming up short.
Just coming up short there, yep. The one thing that I really like about this event is the provincial pride. A lot of provinces sort of band together and cheer on their teams, regardless of whether they're playing or not. If they finish, they'll go and cheer on someone else that's from their province. It's great to see such passion, and
it is, considering that a lot of these teams had to battle each other within their province just to get here, and maybe they didn't make it in fours, but they made it in triples. And instead of playing against them, now they cheer for them. It's quite neat.
it is quite neat. Linda Robbins.
What a great draw.
What a beautiful bowl. She's trying to put this game to bed. I think there's one left for each skip to come here as Cindy's on the mat. She also has red bowls, so this is a team of color versus black. Easy to tell who's who out on the greens. Didn't want to get that rub on the way through. That might have been coming back pretty close.
Linda's looking to make this 2.
If you can make this 2, then that's almost putting this game out of reach. 7-point game right now. I don't think she likes it. Coming up well short. Staying clear.
Well safe.
So that should be one for BC, which would make it 17-9 if my eyes are any good. Well, we'll find out. Naturally, Cindy's right in front of the scoreboard, so I can't see past her. So that makes it a 8-point game. So if BC counts here, that's the game. If Ontario counts, there's still a chance.
It's never over until it's over. You never know what's going to happen.
That's right. We already saw a team pick up an 8-under on the last end to start this event, so it could definitely happen again. Now, unfortunately, with the way the scaffolding set up in the cameras, we are pointing out well across the deck, so these are very side angle views that, especially going in this direction, we're almost looking at it dead on the side. Difficult to move equipment around very quickly. Apologies about that. That's a great opening bowl there from Carol. Just rubbed it on the wrong side on the way through. So this is the last game going on here, last game of the event as well. We'll be taking a couple weeks off, I suppose, as I'm not going to be back on air until September 5th, I guess would be the first game of the outdoor singles in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Haven't quite figured out a streaming schedule for that, so stay tuned to our newsletters or social media. I believe I'm going to be there all week. I would think that I'll be streaming quite a bit. Games are scheduled to start sometime around 9 in the morning, might be 8:30, not sure. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start streaming at 9 a.m. on September 5th. With whatever singles match happens to be on the TV rink. We'll be at the Norwood Club, so we won't be able to get much at Dakota, but when the singles are played at Norwood, we'll be able to put it on air. And that'll be probably rotation between men and women's matches, as it's the men's play against men and the women play against women, and we'll try to switch things up. Quite the turnout for the singles. I believe there's 32 men and 11 women. That's a pretty good field.
Bless you, Jake.
I don't think the West Coast air is sitting well with me. East Coast was okay. West Coast not so much. Too much salt in the air. We'll see what Robbins can do on the mat. She talked to us the very first day we got here. Told us she was initially from Ontario, I believe. I don't remember whereabouts, but moved out to BC and is now on her way to winning a bronze medal.
Played very well all through the week.
Mm-hmm. No easy task to get to the medal rounds. It's a long, grueling week.
That's right.
It's mentally draining to be playing two 18-end games a day for 5 days straight. Well, I guess 4 days, and then a guaranteed one on the 5th day, maybe 2 if you're in a tiebreak. But
Yeah.
very tiring.
Cindy with a good bowl there.
Mm-hmm. So being an 8-point game, if BC counts 1, the game's over. But if Ontario could score a couple, that would make it very difficult to be down 7 coming home. But if they could score 3 or 4, that still keeps this game well within reach coming home.
That's right. Linda's going to take a look. I think
Mhm.
just to see what's going on. She's just slid to the head her last couple.
Ontario could be lying a few there. So it's definitely a good idea to go down and take a look and scope it out. You don't want to open any doors here, and if they count 3 or 4, that makes this game well within reach for Ontario. But if you're BC, you definitely want to just count and put this game to bed when you have the chance. I'm not certain, but I believe that Cindy and Carol have represented Ontario several times before at this event.
They have? Yeah, for sure. I don't know how many that is, but
A very formidable team coming out of Ontario, but as we can see, Linda and Patricia are no slouches either. They're very close to securing a bronze medal for British Columbia. Robbins is on the mat, lining up. I would have to think that she's throwing some weight at this. I would have thought she would just try to draw, grab the jack,
and kills the
and
end.
kills the end. Even down to the very end, not willing to give up any points. So they'll rake them back and start again. Oh, the more you know. So Linda Robbins is from London originally. Her dad, George, played with Ronnie Jones.
Oh, that's awesome.
The more you know. Thanks, George. Heard some disappointing news earlier this week. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but there's a rumor going around that the London club Fairmont will be shutting down at the end of the year, as the government wants the land. It's sad to hear if that is in fact true. Used to love playing at the Fairmont Club growing up. Would always travel down there for a few tournaments here and there. Play WOBA there. They hosted the Canadian Junior and Under 25 Championships in 2010. It was a great club. So we'll try this end again.
Checking the jack. Got an umpire.
Big thanks to Ivo Van Bastelaars. He was a guest commentator at the start of the week. If we had more games in a day, I'm sure we would have had him back on. He was an absolute pleasure to commentate with. Ivo is the grandfather of Caitlin Pryorley, who has been on and off the national team a few times. She was here this week. I got to chat with her. So the umpires are out here measuring this jack to see if it's legal. And think they're throwing it back, so I think we're good to go. Pretty good opening bowl from Patricia. For a little while when I was growing up, I guess, in university for sport management, I used to wonder what I could do with a sport management degree, and one of the options was a sports broadcaster. Having done this now, I'm not sure if that's really going to pan out for me as a career choice to be a sports broadcaster. It is no easy task to be commentating day in and day out. I'm not sure how they do it in baseball. That's 162 games a year.
That's right.
And that's in the span of 5 months, something like that for their season. That's just all the time. It is no easy task. I can now empathize a little bit with sports broadcasters about how difficult of a job it is. It's not easy to hear yourself talk for days on end, hours on end.
That's right. Coming up with new material, good information, answering questions. Want to keep it entertaining, keep it informative.
And also having time to go and find new information, new material. If you want to look up stats or history or anything like that, you need time to dig and find good stuff to talk about. And in pro sports, when you have games every night or every other night, you don't get a whole lot of time to go and do that. Need to get myself an assistant.
Need a fact checker. And
yeah.
someone to dig up information about the area, the people.
Part of the reason why we like to try to make this interactive is when you're talking to us on Facebook or Twitter or anything else like that, you might have some history we didn't know about, or you can be our fact checkers. So they're bringing out the trophies behind us onto the tables out there. So looks like we'll have to just sort of reposition the cameras, turn them around after this is done. We'll shut the stream off at the end of this game for a few minutes to reposition, turn the cameras around, and then we'll go back live for the award ceremonies. But as I mentioned before, unfortunately there won't be much audio. Not sure if we'll try to leave the audio system on and see if you can pick up what people are saying. I think we might turn it off just so we're not inadvertently hearing conversations on the side that aren't meant for television or being on air.
That would never happen.
Never. This is the first time we've streamed any games on this D deck, so I haven't had much chance to watch anything down there to see how the greens are playing. I can see on D1 here, we avoided that altogether during the middle rounds just because it was a tricky green. But even the end rinks are actually brought in quite a ways, so they're not really that much of an end rink, as they're not that close to the side ditches. They're brought in quite a piece.
Cindy looking to build this head up, get some points. Great bowl there.
Beautiful shot. It's a nice spot to be in if you're BC right now, because all you need is one.
Yeah, that's what you're looking for.
All you need is one.
And they're just rocking link shot bowl. Side to side.
Difficult to see too much or to be able to tell too much of what's going on from this angle, as it's a total side view. We were thinking if we do end up televising fours next year, we might have to get a more of a side angle view just so we can try to see the head.
That's right.
Too many people in the head in a fours game to really be able to see anything without an overhead camera. Which it would definitely be ideal to get an overhead camera, but obviously depending on the facility that's not always possible.
That's correct. So you're just sliding into the back.
One thing that I'm actually kind of looking forward to a little bit next year is playing 3 games a day, shortening the event up a little bit, and then playing it a little bit later. I know the youth championships are planned to be pushed back a week. All the events are kind of planned to be pushed back a little bit, which I think is great. Just because it allows players more time to train and peak for their performance. The sort of downside I find with this event is after this event is done, there's still a good month left of bowling, but you've already peaked, you've already played the major event, so any tournaments or anything you play in after this is just sort of downhill slope. But if we push things back a little bit more in the year, then you can continually train and have a purpose that you're trying to improve upon. And it gives even just a little more time for training is always good.
And they're taking a really good look at this. Wants to go back.
Wants to go back up and take a look again, yeah. I think she might have a very bright future in bowls. She's clearly taking this very seriously for this bronze, as you should. But not willing to concede any ends, even if you're up 8 in the score. Still very consistent in how she's playing this game and not giving anything away. I believe this is her last bowl of the end, and she's thrown a little bit of weight again. I wonder if she's trying to kill it again.
Oh, take out the bowl, shot bowl. Not sure what that does for the end. It's hard to see from this angle.
It is. If any bowlers go and win the lottery, donate us a few $1,000,000 so we can improve our streaming equipment and get some wireless cameras that I can operate from here and zoom in and out and pan side to side.
There we go.
We're talking maybe we'll get some drones next year and just hover above the players and hover above the green so we can get a bird's eye view. Sliding through a few ports.
Have to get a measure.
Yeah. Looks like Cindy's using an Ubi launcher.
Not quite.
Not quite, just a bowls lifter upper?
Just has a really long handle on it, kind of like a newbie launcher.
Huh. So when I'm talking about Linda having a bright future, I guess she already has had a bright future, as Linda's won a Canadian gold while playing for Ontario. Did not know that. Good thing George is here to fact check us. Thank you, George. So was that 1 or 2 for Ontario? Just 1?
Looks like 1.
17-10. So it's a 7-point game. They need 7 to tie, 8 to win.
Extremely difficult, but not impossible.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely no quit in these ladies, as they're not willing to concede. They still want to fight to the end, which is great to see at this level, that nobody's willing to just pack it in. They want to play it out till it's done.
Barbecue smells good over there.
Yeah, yes it does. So when I was reading the paper the other morning, I saw that Victoria's planning to put a bid in for the 2022 Commonwealth Games,
Oh, really?
which would be interesting to see. These greens are actually a legacy of, well, I think it was the '92 Commonwealth Games that were hosted here. So that'd be absolutely excellent if Victoria could host the Commonwealth Games, and we could have that in Canada again. Costs hundreds of millions of dollars, possibly even billions, to run that event, though. So it's definitely no easy task. But if approved, I would have to think that World Bowls would come here and make some recommendations on how to update and improve things. I'm wondering if 4 greens would actually be enough to hold the Commonwealth Games, because I know there's a lot of different countries, a lot of teams, a lot of different disciplines and formats going on.
Yeah, they may have to expand.
Might need to expand or use a neighboring club.
Yep.
I know Victoria has more than just the one. Much more than just Juan de Fuca here on the island. It'd also be interesting when they could do that timing-wise, as next year the Commonwealth Games are in Gold Coast, Australia in April, I believe, maybe March, April, sometime around there. That wouldn't be realistic to have that here in Canada during that time frame, to have all the same sports.
Yeah.
I highly doubt that they'd be able to have the bowls greens in the best condition that they could in April. Although they do play almost year round here because they don't get much snow, it's just all rain. Patricia's coming up a little bit short there with her 3 bowls. Definitely not what you want. You want to make sure you're at least past the jack, so you're not giving a chance for 7. But one of Carol's bowls is well short, so that's going to be very difficult for Ontario to score a 7 here, or even a 8. I wouldn't be surprised if Cindy's going to need to try to kill this just to give themselves a chance coming home. That might be part of their plan then, I guess, BC, is to build a wall to make it harder for Cindy to kill, because with that short bowl of Carol's, I'm not sure how you're going to get 7 or 8 out of this.
Yeah, that's going to be a difficult task.
Mm-hmm. And that's really interesting. Carol's calling for just a draw to the jack. I would have expected more of a back bowl, so you could try to trail the jack back, maybe. Could be lying 2, maybe 3 there, but
All Linda really needs to do is get a mixer in the back there.
Anything
Start
past,
a couple
and
bowls.
anything past, and I think they're set. And then it'll be time to build the wall.
There you go.
Or,
Well,
yep, that'll do
trail
it.
for shot.
That'll do it. Cindy has to kill it here now.
Potentially pick the bowl and sit, but that is an extremely difficult shot.
Actually, yeah, I guess that is an option. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, she could just pick and sit. I don't know if she can see that from the mat. She's
She's just going by.
Going by?
But that's
probably the weight to pick and sit, but you need to push it far enough back that I don't know if that's an option now. I think you need that bowl in the ditch almost.
now Linda just needs to get some more bowls in the head so you can't take it.
Again, anything past is good too.
Yeah,
Yep, that helps.
Good.
That just what solidifies things here. And I think Carol's just calling for a draw. She's not even calling for the kill.
That's a shot like that is pretty much conceding the game, because I don't believe you can actually do anything at this point.
Just wide. I guess her attempt might have also been just to fatten the head a bit so it is easier to kill. That might have been what Carol was trying as well, or calling for, rather.
And it's coming in here. Just another one in there.
Yep. Linda's been playing well from the few wins that we've been streaming here that we can see. So this is the last bowl for Carol, and I believe that'll be the last bowl of the game.
I don't see. Oh, she's gonna play it. But she was very quick with it, so I don't think it really mattered.
So that's the game. BCB will take the bronze medal over Ontario. And we'll shut her down for now until we can angle things for the award ceremony. Thanks for commentating with me, Daryl. It's been a pleasure.
No problem, Jake. Anytime. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for tuning in.